Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's presentation. We're going to get started soon, very shortly. We see others are still coming in, attendees are still logging in, so we want to make sure that everyone who's registered and will be attending get the opportunity to do so. So just bear with us for a couple of minutes as attendees continue to sign in and join us for today's presentation. Okay, I see that attendees are still logging in. So we'll give it a couple more minutes and we will start. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started in the interest of time. So we're going to welcome you again to this afternoon's presentation of Creating Magic Through Music and Movement, a presentation by Antoinette Shaw and Wendy Gordon. So welcome again to today's presentation.
Welcome again, as Wendy just said, to our presentation. My name is Antoinette Shaw. I am a quality and education coaching specialist here at Broward County at the ALC. I've been in early childhood education for about 19 years. I started in Head Start as an infant teacher and moved on to the VPK classroom, which I love so much. And then I became a director of a childcare center. So I've been in the classroom and out the classroom in administration and as a teacher. So we're here to just here with us as we're starting to do our training today. Thank you.
And good afternoon. My name is Wendy Gordon, and I too am a quality and education specialist with the Early Learning Coalition of Broward County. So a little about myself. Um, I hold an MS in psychology, and I'm a certified trainer of making the most of classroom instructions, or MMCI as we refer to it. I'm a trainer and observer in class pre-K, toddler, and infant. And I'm also a Teachstone affiliate trainer, meaning that I'm able to train others to become class observers. As far as my professional experience, I have over 20 plus years in early childhood education and development, including pre-K, ESE, and K through third certification. And although my love genuinely is with the early years, birth through 5, my area of expertise is concentrated primarily in the area of birth to 2 years old. So I started out in the infant toddler setting and I fell in love with it, and I just took in everything I could. I absorb as much as I can about understanding the earliest of learners, which is birth to 2. So I have a personal motto, and it's children are my business. And when I speak in terms of children, I speak in terms of birth through 5. Although children are my business, birth through 5 is where my passion lies. Personally, I have 3 adult children. I'm a grandmother of 3, a teenager and her 12-year-old fraternal twins. And my hobbies include traveling, wine tasting, exploring nature. Right now, because of the situation that we're currently in, I do most of my nature exploring in my own backyard. And because of the current situation, I've also become somewhat of a novice chef. So I'm learning how to perfect some of my favorite foods. And right now, one of my favorite foods have become making fajitas. So that's just a little bit about me. So again, we are Antoinette Shaw and Wendy Gordon, quality and education coaches of the Early Learning Coalition of Broward County, and we welcome you again to today's presentation. So before we begin, we're going to just talk about your attendance, participation, the credits that come along with this presentation, and the pre-post tests and evaluations that will follow. So for this presentation and all future presentations offered through Broward Early Learning Coalition of Broward are for in-service hours only. So that's very important to know that the trainings that you participate in, you do receive in-service hours. Your training certificate will be emailed within 24 hours of the trainings and sent to the email address that you entered upon registration. So the email address that we have that you listed during your registration is the email that the training certificate will be provided to. In order to be marked as attended, you must log in on the computer or download the GoToWebinar app on your phone. Just calling in does not register attendance, and you will not receive a certificate or be marked as attended. For this webinar and any future webinars, if you can't see the screen, we can't see you. So we want you to be able to log in either via your laptop or PC or using the GoToWebinar app on your phone. So something new with the trainings for July and moving forward, all trainings will have, one moment, we'll have a pre-test of 3 questions to answer when you register. So when you registered for this training, you were required to answer 3 questions, and that's your pre-knowledge of the material that's going to be presented today. Upon completion of today's training, a post-test will follow with 3 questions, and a training survey of 5 questions will immediately launch. So once the webinar ends, these questions will pop up, and we ask that you please complete all of the information. And we'll remind you of that again at the end of today's presentation. Okay, so if you have any questions, as we move through it, we ask that you use the questions box that we're going to discuss next. So some webinar housekeeping. On your computer or your laptop, whatever device you have, click on the orange rectangle with the white arrow pointing right to use your panel, and it will be on either side of your screen, either on the right or the left side of your screen. If you look down at the bottom, you'll see a little green box that says click here to type any questions or comments. That's the questions box. It has a little triangle. So you just click on that and it will open. And inside you will see the questions section where you can type any questions or comments as we move throughout today's training. This training also has handouts. And if you look at the little mustard colored box, it says click here to download handouts. You can click on that triangle as well, and it will drop down and show you all of the handouts that are included in today's webinar. You click on each document in the handout section to access the documents. Once you click on it, a PDF will open, and that will allow you to click on the down arrow to download the document directly to your computer. So any handouts that we have are located in that part of your panel. You click on the button, you click on the document that you want to download, and it will download to your computer. Okay. Some additional housekeeping. Pay attention to the third bullet. Your certificate will be emailed to you after the training. So your certificate will not be in that document box. It will be directly mailed to your email after our training within 24 hours, okay? And then remember to complete the post-test and evaluation at the end of the presentation, okay? So again, if you have any questions, you can use the questions feature, click on the little triangle, and type your question and send it to the organizers, and one of us will be able to see your question and try to answer them as quickly and as accurately as we can. Okay. So we have an agenda for you today, and we like to have an agenda so you can see the flow of the presentation and see how our time together will be spent. So we've just completed our welcome and introductions. We're going to look at virtual agreements. We'll look at our objectives and goals. There will be a poll. There are 2 polls in this presentation that you will participate in. We're going to look at a video to get us started, and as we move throughout the content, which is music and movement in early childhood development, there are some other videos embedded. And there's a small little activity that will be presented by my co-facilitator called Sing It. And then at the end, we're going to have questions and answers and comments. So hopefully we will move through this presentation in a timely fashion so that we can answer most of the questions and acknowledge most of the comments that you post. Okay. So virtual community agreements, although we're not face to face, we still like to feel like we are a community. So there are some virtual community agreements that I'm going to ask, and my co-facilitator, we're going to ask that we agree to adhere to and just allow ourselves to be open to. So it's only 5 of them, and I'll read them. The first bullet is allow yourself the luxury of doing just one thing. So remember that, just give yourself permission to do one thing that you want to do, no matter how grand or how small it may be. Give yourself the permission to do just that one thing. Challenge what you already know about this topic. Some of you may have a wealth of information about music and movement. Challenge some of that information that you already know and be open to receive new information or new ideas or new strategies. Stay solution oriented and open to learning at least one new thing. I think we are all, as educators and professional providers, we know how important it is to be open to learning. So I'm asking just for today, allow yourself to be open to learning at least one new thing about this topic. Be flexible with this style of learning, which is virtually and remotely, the learning ideas that come from it. We have great tools at our disposal. We have a box where you can ask questions or post comments and directly to the organizers. So be flexible with this style of learning, and hopefully in the end, we'll all learn something, we'll have fun, and we will enjoy the presentation that we're about to start. So those are virtual community agreements. I hope that they are simple enough for you to want to agree with one, if not all of them. Find one that really sticks out to you and say, okay, as I go through this presentation, I'm going to do that one of those 5 virtual agreements, if not all 5. Okay.
And so as we continue, we're going to talk about our objectives and our goals for today. Consider the benefits of music and music activities across age groups, birth through 5, and its impact on early childhood development. Explore the implementing strategies that can improve children's ability to learn. Discuss how music and movement can help strengthen the social, mental, and physical development in the children, and have fun with music and movement in our classrooms. So those are our objectives and our goals that we're all going to talk about together today.
So we're going to start by launching a poll. And it's just a fun poll just to kind of get a feel for the types of music that we enjoy listening to. And so it's a very simple poll. It's simply asking, what music did you listen to today? So as I prepare to launch the poll, just think about over the last 24 hours, the type of music that you've listened to, because music speaks to us in a way that, you know, other ways of communication differ. Music really is universal, no matter what type of music you enjoy listening to. So I'm going to launch the poll. And take a moment or two to read. What music did you listen to today? And just select one. And this is just a small representation of the types of music that is available to us. So I tried to capture as much of the genres as I could. So the first is adult contemporary, which could be R&B, rhythm and blues, hip hop, pop, easy listening. Maybe you've listened to some Caribbean music, which would include reggae or soca or calypso, compa or compas. Maybe you're a big country and western fan. Maybe you like rock and roll, the blues, jazz, or any other music that you've listened to over the last 24 hours. Maybe it's classical music, gospel music, nursery rhymes for those of us who are out in the centers or in our family homes, continuing to provide service to our families, maybe listening to nursery rhymes or children's music or new age music. So take a moment and click on your response, and we'll share out the responses. I'm loving the participation. We're almost at 60%. It will take about another 20 more seconds to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to vote. Okay, about 10 more seconds. And if you want to type into the question box an example of the music that you've listened to, we can take a look at some of those responses. We'll take a look at a couple of those responses so we can get a specific idea. Okay. Okay, I think we've gotten everyone's vote. So I'm going to close the poll and let's take a look at our, at our results.
Um,
Okay. So it looks like majority of our participants listen to other classical, gospel, nursery rhymes, new age, 43%. And then coming in second, adult contemporary, which is the R&B, hip hop, pop, and easy listening. And then we have Caribbean music coming in third with reggae, soca, calypso, compa, compas. And not to be outdone, the last top group, country and western, rock and roll, blues, and jazz. So let's see. Let's take a look at some of your responses. Let's see, I see some people saying they listen to Latin, classic, new age rock. Some of them said Twinkle Little Star, romantic music, international music. Someone said children's music is playing in the hallway now. And someone said that they're listening to the ABC song also in the infant's classroom. So great, great. So it's no surprise that other would be the most popular of music that we're listening to, particularly for those of us who are back in our programs, our open programs and family child care programs. I'm sure listening to nursery rhymes and singing the alphabet song and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, those are the most popular types of music that you've heard or sang to or listened to in the last 24 hours. So thank you so much for sharing your responses. Okay. Okay. So I hope you found that little activity to be fun. So we're going to move on to a video, and Antoinette is going to talk to us about this video that's coming up.
Thank you, Wendy. We're going to listen to and watch a video, from UNICEF. Is your baby getting enough music? This is also about the baby in your classroom. We know how important music is to our brain development in children. So we're just going to look at this video for a little bit and just have a discussion about it when we finish watching it.
So.
As we watched this video, I think it was beautiful, just lovely about music and how much music is a part of our children's life. It makes them calmer, slows down their heartbeat, and development from they're in the womb of their mom has started already through her singing the song, and the babies are hearing the song as the mom is singing, feeling the beat, feeling the rhythm that she has. So within 24 weeks, they start to hear native language. I think that is very interesting, that your baby is hearing your language you speak, whether it's French, Creole, Chinese, English, whatever language you speak, your baby's already hearing it, just like they're hearing the soothness of the music that is playing while you're still pregnant. Um, Reading is also part of that. Instruments that you have in your classroom, you're playing the instruments. Children are hearing that in the infant classroom. They're hearing the music, they're hearing the clang, they're hearing the chimes. Even your voice they're hearing as you're singing to them in the classroom. And then when it's time for their naps, you are also giving them that soothing nap time music, very soft, very soothing, and listening to instruments. And it's slow music as putting them to sleep, whether you're rocking them in a rocking chair or just in a chair rocking them to sleep. They're still hearing music as that is all going on, even if it's your voice. Nobody needs an opera voice or a award-winning voice to sing to children. They're listening to you as their teacher, as you're singing to them, rocking them to sleep in a very slow and soft way, and a lullaby that you might have on the radio, still also very soft, very soothing, so that the children can hear you. Even when they get a little bit older, they're playing with wooden spoons on a pot, they're doing shakers, they're using drums and maracas and any kind of instruments that you have in your classroom. Think about that as the children in your classroom. How are you helping them with this, with their music? And how do you make it fun? Whatever you have, you can sit on the floor with them and you can just be banging your legs. It could be banging a spoon on top of a pot. And then you give them the instruments too. So they learn through feeling the instruments that they have. They're hearing it as they are shaking it as well. And in every culture around the world, there is music. So what music are you using in your classroom? Look at your culture that you have in your classroom. Try and make it an effort to have each type of music from every culture that is in your classroom so that they can relate to the music. Even as an infant, 1-year-old child, 2-year-old children, they are still can relate to the music that is in your classroom, just like the poll that Wendy did. You see how many different genres of music we have in this world. That is part of your classrooms for your children. So you think about again, how many children are in your classroom? Where are they from? What kind of music do they listen to in that area? In every culture of the world, music is an expression. It is love, it is joy, it is interaction, and it improves social skills while you and the child are playing, or the child is playing with a drum, playing with any kind of instruments that you have in your room, even the shaker, a maraca. So try and bring all of that, even from their infant to 1-year-old, 2-year-old classrooms. Music starts again. The child is in the stomach. The mother is singing. She might be just sitting and listening to music. The child is hearing all of that you're doing in there. So especially in our classroom where music is so important, that lullaby you're rocking the child to sleep, they're hearing your voice, singing to them a lullaby song that's soothing them, that's making their eyes close down, that's making them rock back and forth and feeling better and falling asleep. Then you have the time when it's time to play music. You have shakers, you have drums, you have all kind of instruments, and your room has now become a chorus time. It's orchestra, and just have all of this playing. Doesn't matter how loud they get, they are expressing themselves. expressing themselves, how this music is making them feel. If they're just like banging on that drum, boom, 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 over and over again, that's what they're hearing, that boom, boom, boom. And that is what they want to hear. I know sometimes as teachers, you're like, oh my Lord, that is so loud. But think about the child in the classroom. You know, he's enjoying it, she's enjoying it at that moment. They're shaking that maraca, and you hear that noise in there, clicking back and forth. And to them, that is sound. And with them, you can help them with that sound by giving it words. You hear that loud drum, it's going boom, boom. Do you hear the shaker going shake, shake, shake? So it's not just listening to the music too, you're also helping them with words and vocabulary. And the culture that your classroom is in depends to, can add music more to that classroom. What culture might be the dominant culture, and make sure that you have a balanced set of music that everyone in the classroom, even your culture, to bring it into the classroom as well. So music, again, expresses of love, it's joy, it's interaction, it improves social skills, it helps the children to express themselves and move to the music, right? And it's their native language, again, to hear patterns in music, soothing music as well. Soft music for sleeping, slow or soft in any voice, lullaby their culture and your culture as well. So when we have the children in our classroom, when music is a culture for everyone, your culture, the children's culture, even the parents' culture, and just see how music is so much, it's bringing out words of children. They're hearing sounds, they're hearing different rhythms, different beats. So that is part of also learning and their development, even in the 1 and 2-year-old classrooms. This is really important for them to help them. And it's a fun activity to do too. We've got to make this fun for the children, that they can shake and they can bang and they can sit on the floor and they just have fun, and they're learning without even knowing that they're learning. So just remember, as we're doing this with our infant and our toddler children, how it affects their vocal cords as well, because now they're saying ah, making sounds as they're hearing the music. So again, social skills, music skills, interactions with the babies while they're doing this, or the children in your classroom, and to bring their culture into it as well, so that they can be part to improve social skills when they're talking to you, playing the music, talking to you, talking back to them when they're playing their music. So this is what this video is about. Is your baby getting enough music?
Okay. Thank you, Antoinette.
Yeah.
So I hope you all enjoyed that video, and I hope it sets the tone for the rest of our presentation. Antoinette did an amazing job of breaking down the content. So thank you again, Antoinette. So as we move through, we're going to look at the 3 age groups that makes up early childhood education, early childhood development, and early childhood itself. And that would be the groups of infant, the groups of toddler, and the group of preschool. So as we move through our presentation, you will see how each group benefits based on their developmental needs, their developmental milestones, for this type of activity and this topic, music and movement. So we're going to look at music and early childhood development. As we know, all early sounds, including music and rhythms, play a profound effect in shaping the brain, which is what Antoinette spoke to just a moment ago, as that video pointed out, from the onset of the mother being pregnant with the baby up until the time that baby emerges and is placed in a setting where music becomes a part of her life. When music resonates with our body rhythms, it is a powerful influence on our alertness and our ability to learn. So just for a moment, think about how when you hear a certain rhythm in a certain song or a certain beat, how your body gets in tune with that. Sometimes you may just tap your finger against your thigh, or wrap your fingers on your desk, or you may clap softly to yourself or tap your toes. That rhythm that you hear speaks to the rhythm in your body, and your body begins to move. Most classical music is in tune with our body rhythm. Again, going back to Antoinette's explanation on how it, and the doctor in the video, how it slows our heartbeat. So sometimes when we're anxious about something, or we may be upset about something, listening to classical music can slow our heart rate down, ease off some of that anxiety. And that's because our body is getting in tune with the rhythm from the classical music. Research suggests that listening to music during the first 3 years of life, which is very critical, helps the brain form patterns that are essential to the learning process. So oftentimes we will hear how music helps children better understand space, better understand mathematics, better understand their how they are going to move their body, that spatial intelligence. It puts us in a frame of mind where we can kind of gather ourselves, think about what our next step will do, and then proceed to do that thing. And then lastly, the brain adapts easily during the early years. And we all know this as early childhood professionals. We know that children absorb everything like a sponge. And our brain is open and ready to receive information as it comes in from all around us. And music is one of the best ways for us to receive that information. So a wide variety of music can be introduced. So understanding children's culture, you can play that type of music. Understanding their background, you can introduce that type of music to all of the children that are in your learning environment. It doesn't just have to be Brahms' lullaby, as the doctor explained in the video. It can be a variety of music, and you want to expose children to that, because I know when I hear a different genre of music that I've never heard before, I'm like, oh my goodness, I wonder what type of music that is. I've never heard that. I love the sound of of um, of a ukulele being played, because that's Hawaiian music. I love a cello during when I hear a classical tune being played. It's just about the exposure. And in addition to that, when we talk about music and the brain, the benefits of it is that uh, in most childhood experiences, it accelerates brain development, particularly for language acquisition, as the doctor explained, as Antoinette explained, and their reading skills. When children learn how to play an instrument, it has been shown through research that it improved the mathematical learning. As I said, a lot of times you'll see children who are gifted in music, they're pretty gifted in math as well, math and science. And it even has been shown to increase SAT scores down the line. So music is very critical to the academic learning aspect of our brain. But it is not the only benefit of music education and exposure. Music also can ignite all areas of child development and skills for school readiness, including their intellect, social, emotional. Imagine having a child who wants to be a part of a little group, but they don't know how to do so, and you play some music that invite everyone to come together. Motor and language and overall literacy, children learning how to read by the repetition of a song that they're learning. It also helps the body and the mind work together. Exposing children to music during early development helps them learn the sounds and meanings of words. And so, even if they want to hear the same song, just like with the same story being read over and over again, in their brain, that part of their brain is developing and processing to put it all together to help make it make sense to them. And dancing to music help children build motor skills while allowing them to practice self expression. For children and adults, music helps strengthens our memory skills. Just think about your own self. Sometimes you have to set it to music to remember. So you make up a little song about that thing that you need to get done, or that thing that you're anticipating happening. So just think, take a second and just think how you may have done that over the course of your adult life, and it really just stems back to the early exposure that you had to music education. So hooray for music education. And if we have any music educators in our midst, I applaud you, because I think it's just an amazing thing, an amazing gift to have, to be able to truly educate children on music and what it does to our overall brain development, and how in tune our bodies become when we listen to the music that we enjoy listening to. Okay, so that's music and early childhood development. So as I explained, we're going to look at the three groups in early childhood education. So the first group, of course, being one of my favorite groups, music and movement for infants. And we're going to look at the benefits of music and movement in this age group. And for infants, we consider that age group birth till about 18 months. So just think in terms of infancy, it runs about from day one up until about 18 months for this group. So infants recognize the melody of a song long before they understand the words. And this was already reiterated by Antoinette and the doctor in the video. They don't have to understand the words, because they're not listening for the words, they're listening to the sound that is being made. So whether you're making nonsensical rhymes, or you're just humming, or you're just doing a la 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 type of thing, that's what they're hearing. It's not about making sure that they understand the words that you're saying. They don't have that capacity just yet. They often try to mimic the sounds and start moving to the music as soon as they are physically able to do so. So when a baby gets about maybe 3 months and they hear a song with a little rhythm, again, going back to what we just discussed, their body gets in tune with that rhythm. And sometimes their legs will move a little bit. You may see their hand go up. They may try to clap, or even if you put their hands together to make them clap along with the beat. They begin to move to the music as soon as they are physically able. Okay. Loud background music may overstimulate an infant. So yes, we appreciate music as it's being played in the centers and the family child care homes, but if it's loud background music, it may overstimulate some of the infants in the classroom. When the noise level gets loud, the music seems to get louder. So that's something you want to be cognizant of. If there's background music, make sure that it's low enough that it may not overstimulate one of your infants in the classroom. We often suggest, and just think about your own self, sometimes if you're out in the hustle and bustle of shopping, having quiet background music, it can be soothing for you. It can be soothing for adults, excuse me, for infants, especially at sleep or rest time. So that's why we encourage classical tunes or lullaby, something that's soft, something that's quiet, mostly instrumental. If you have lullabies where there's singing, just listen to the tone of the person that's singing, making sure that it's soft and gentle enough to lull a baby to sleep or to ease them into rest time. And for yourself, if you're holding a little one in your arms, you can sing simple short songs to infants using a high, soft voice. So you, just like with reading, your voice fluctuates, your tones go up and down. As Antoinette said, you don't have to be a world-class opera singer, America's Next Top Voice or whatever it is. They're listening to the sound, not they're not judging you on what you sound like, okay? Try making up 1 or 2 lines about bathing. Any of the things that you do with the babies in the classroom, whether it's bathing them, dressing them, getting them to eat, sing to them while you do these activities. Again, you can make up nonsensical songs about the activity. It's you and that infant exposing them to music and making that connection in their brain and with their bodies. Okay. So as we go through, as we continue to go through the presentation, think about some of the songs that are usually played in your infant classroom. And if you want, you can type a few of them into the box and we'll look at them because maybe there's some music in your classroom that's being played that you can share out with other participants who say, "Oh, I never thought that you could use that type of music in your classroom." And I did see a question. Someone asked, is it okay to have music playing throughout the day, or does it just have to be at that time? Again, as long as background music isn't loud and causes overstimulation, you can have some quiet music playing in the background. But music does have a purpose. Music and movement has a purpose in the classroom. It shouldn't be on just to drown out the noise of the children, okay? So, how does music and movement benefit infants? Let's take a look. It benefits their creativity, their memory, because we were talking about at age 3 months old, babies can use music to help them remember things that they have already learned. And this is being researched by scientists who now believe that music gives significance to the learning process and helps us to remember. So think about yourself. Think about music that was played and how it helped you to remember a task that you needed to complete. It benefits spatial intelligence, and spatial intelligence is an infant's ability, or a person's ability, I should say, not just infants, to perceive various relationships in terms of space and understand the visual world. They did a study where children were given piano lessons. The children who engaged in piano lessons showed a better success rate in completing a jigsaw puzzle than children who were given a computer or tablet to do the same activity. So sitting down and learning how to play a musical instrument proved a little bit more beneficial with spatial intelligence. Again, remember I said earlier, children who are gifted in music tend to be gifted in mathematics because they think in the abstract. They don't have to have something concrete in front of them to figure out what it is. And we know mathematics can be an abstract concept to a lot of us. I know for myself personally, it can be very abstract. But if I'm learning what music does in my brain and I become pretty gifted at that, mathematics tend to line up with that. Language and literacy acquisition tend to line up with that. Okay. So language, again, there's a close connection between music and linguistic development. The more you do it, the more children hear it, that repetition. Okay. They learn the difference between sounds. B, 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 p. They start to differentiate between the sounds. Okay. Emotional intelligence, a big one. It because we hear music, even as adults, it can on strong emotions. It can make us feel sad. It can make us reminisce about a fun time, happy time. It does the same thing with children. So emotional intelligence is also a benefit with music and movement. And of course, gross motor skills. How great is it to tell them to jump up and down, put their hands on their head, shoulders, knees, and toes, move their whole body. How great is that? And lastly, independence. being able to move around in their space based on the music that they hear. They can be over in the block area and you put on a music and they know to move from the block area over to the science area, from the science area to the writing table. And with infants, even with infants, you put on a music and they understand, oh, that song indicates it's time for me to get ready for my lunch or my snack or my bottle, however, my meal time. So that repetition, that consistency with music in the classroom is how it benefits infants in your classroom. So again, music and movement has a purpose in your classroom. Okay. So we're going to watch a video on infants and music, and then we'll follow up with a brief discussion on what we observed with the infants in the video, how the adults support the infants and the children in the video, and if there's anything in the video that you saw, if you were to do this activity, how would you expand on it, or would you do something different? So our first video that we're going to watch under infants, it's a short video. It's less than 2 minutes long, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay. And it's an infant music activity at Bright Horizons. Okay. Okay. So just briefly, and you can type your responses in the box. What did you notice about the infants in the video? Let's see. Let's see. They seem to be engaged. Yes. What else did you notice? How were the adults supporting the children? They were happy and exploring. They are trying, yes. Yes, they are trying. They're showing a curiosity about the instruments. And they appear to be happy babies. Yes. The teachers were happy and encouraging. Everyone is smiling. They're supporting the engagement. Yes. They were responding to the teacher's voice tone. Exactly. Exactly. Yes. The adults appeared happy and interactive. Yes, they were listening and following the movements and trying to make the sounds. All of that is taking place in that video. They mimic, they copy. Yes. Yes. Responding to the adults and the adult interactions. Exactly. All of that was taking place. And the learning of two languages. Yes. one teacher was speaking in Spanish, which is probably her primary language, and the other teacher speaking in English. So those children are getting all of that. As Antoinette said earlier, you know, sing to them in songs that you know second language too. It can be in Spanish, it can be in Chinese, it can be in Portuguese, whatever your second language is. Sing songs to them in those languages. Yes. Thank you for sharing. I hope you enjoyed that video. So we just finished looking at the benefits of music and movement for infants. We watched this video. Thank you for sharing out your responses of what you observed in the video and how the adults supported the infants in this video. So with that, we're going to move into the next group, which will be for toddlers, and Antoinette will present on that.
Thank you, Wendy. So now we are going to move into our toddler and music in our classrooms. So research is showing how much music helps young children build powerful thought network that fortify their learning in areas as varied as language processing, visual perception, memory, mathematics, and of course, creative expression. Most music molds the mind. Making music actively engage the brain's synapses. As young children participate in music-based activities, their muscles, senses, and intellect are engaged simultaneously. They are exercising their brains in ways they rarely do. Long-term musical training actually reorganizes the brain. Music keeps the mind sharp, serving as a challenging cognitive exercise. It also feeds the soul, develops character, and boosts creativity. Ways in which music is beneficial to our toddlers. Music increases toddler sensory development, just as taste, texture, and color aid a child's sensory development, so does music. Exposing your child to different types of music can help create more pathways between the cells in their brain. This effects increase even more when you link music to different activities, such as dancing. Music can improve literacy and numeracy. From an early age, babies can hear the difference between different types of sounds. After just a few weeks, a baby is able to identify their mother's voice from other people's. Exposure to music enhances a child's natural ability to decode sounds and words. By singing nursery rhymes to young children, you can help them to identify sound patterns and learn through repetition. In addition to that, music also helps children anticipate what is coming next in a poem or a song, and they know how to put these patterns in a sequence. By mastering these skills, children build the base of literacy and numeracy. Music is a mood lifter. I know it is for me, so I'm sure it is for children. Use music to help children prepare to nap or rest or to calm them down with a song. Just as music can soothe a child, it can also lift their spirit. And I'm stop here for a minute about music, how it soothes children at nap time and how important that is, the type of music that we're giving our children as, you know, as nap time is approaching. So just starting this music right before it's time for nap, it's already getting their minds in the mood and starting to soothe them now. And again, as it says, it does also uplift their spirit. You can use music to indicate playtime, sleep time, or different moments in your child's daily schedule. So as the music changes, they know it's now time for something else to be done in the classroom. Music also helps toddlers build coordination. Even if the child doesn't understand the lyrics of a song yet, they can definitely move to the rhythm of the music. You may have already noticed children dancing to certain songs or liking certain pieces of music other than others. And you can incorporate that in your classroom. When you see they're liking a certain music rather than the others, start to play that a little bit more for them. So then you can see more of their coordination skills being built. Music encourages children's inclination to developing their fine motor skills and gross motor skills. Again, that movement that they're doing while they're dancing to music. Plus, if the rhythm is very entertaining, you may even notice toddlers starting to jump up and down, which helps with the muscle development, strength, and balance. And here's the tip. When you see children dancing, give them a toy or a drum or other musical instruments that you have in your classroom and you dance with them. They will try to mimic your moves, which can help them with their hand-eye coordination and exercise their clutch and their grip. Music can help toddlers develop their vocabulary. Even though at first children may not understand the words in a song or in a nursery rhyme, they do develop their understanding by identifying the storytelling in a song. And again, right here is very important. They might not at first understand the songs in the word in nursery rhyme, but they're understanding that, yeah, this is in the story, this is the storytelling in the song. Take as an example the ABC song, where many children think that the sequence LMNOP is a word. And it almost sounds like one when you do it like that. So that is why they do, we're older, we understand that, but the LMNOP run together does sound like a word. As they grow, they will start to realize that it's not a word, but a sequence of sounds, each sound being a separate entity. LMNOP. But because as we're singing that song, we're moving it so fast. To help children learn more words and identify the story in the song, try singing their favorite nursery rhyme, inserting their name into the song. So you could be singing any song you want and just add their name in it. For example, Old MacDonald had a farm. Maybe you could call the animal's name on the farm a cow, and the cow's name was Jan. You can also encourage children to change words in the song to keep them engaged in learning and learning. So when we do take encouragement from a child who wants to change something in a song, let's do it. This is helping them. And you're also, again, keeping them engaged in the song. Just because that's not the word that should come next, that's the word they would like to see come next, then you go ahead and change it, for that child at that moment. We're going to watch a short video with toddlers and music and follow up with a brief discussion of what we observed, how the adults support the infants, and how you would conduct the activity. Let's watch. Okay, after watching this video, is there anything? How would you conduct this activity? Would you support the infants? You can type it in our box so we know. Again, we're going to how the adults supported the infants and how would you conduct that activity? How would you conduct that activity? You can type that in so we can see.
And
Okay.
the children were singing along.
Mhm.
Yes. What else did we notice? The children were trying to follow the movement. Yes. Yes. Trying to follow the movement of the teachers. Again, I think Antoinette spoke on this, how if you move, sometimes they will try to mimic the way that you move. Yes. And the teachers are guiding kids on how to play some instruments and singing with them. Coordination.
Mhm.
And they were using the instruments all together, moving and singing. Yes, great observations. Any other responses? Children love music. It makes them happy. I agree. And I think as an adult, music helps us feel happy also. It brings us joy. Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing.
Okay, so we need to.
Okay. Okay, so we've just finished discussing music and movement for toddlers. So that gets to be a little bit of a tongue twister, music and movement for toddlers. And now we're going to look at the oldest group of early childhood, and that's the preschool age. And we're going to look at and discuss the benefits of music and movement within this group. And as we're going through each group, you see, if you're observing the videos and listening to the information that we're sharing out, you see the different developmental stages for each group. Uh, the toddlers are able to manipulate heavier instruments, get those instruments on their own, versus with the infants, you can put them in front of them and kind of let them reach for them again. Building on other skills, gross motor skills, fine motor skills, social, emotional intelligence, all of that. So it ties together, but it just happened. It looks a little different for each age group. Okay, so the way it looks for infant, it does not necessarily look that way for toddlers. And we're going to look at preschool, the preschool age, and we'll see how it looks different from toddlers and infants. Okay, so let's look at preschoolers. So we know that preschoolers enjoy singing, just singing. They do. They make up their own songs. And they, as they're playing with each other, as they're playing solo. And as Antoinette said, they aren't self-conscious about their ability, and most of them are eager to let their voices roar. They sing loud. They are not judging themselves on how they sound. You know, some of them, their voices are so pure and so simple, and some of their voices are really loud and kind of rough sounding, but it's their voices, and they love to share the sound of their voices out. They like songs that repeat words and melodies. They use rhythms with a different beat, and songs that ask them to do things, songs that ask them to move. Um, um, for example, put your right hand up. The Hokey Pokey song. I had to think of the Hokey Pokey song. You put your right hand up, you put your right hand down, you put your right hand up, and you shake it all around. They love those types of songs, those melodies, those rhythms. Preschool children also enjoy nursery rhymes and songs about familiar things like toys, animals, play activities, and people. And as Antoinette said, with the toddlers, try switching out the familiar words to the song and adding their names to the song, or giving the animals a name, or instead of saying that animal, say another animal's name. Switch it up a little bit. And preschoolers like finger play and nonsense rhymes with or without musical accompaniment. So they love singing a cappella. They don't have to have a drum to beat on or maracas to clack together or little cymbals to bang together. They love singing nonsense rhymes and they will make them up, especially as they're learning how rhymes work. Okay. So how do we use music to boost preschoolers listening and organizational skills, their memories and their sense of self? Make it focus on the process, participation and playfulness, not necessarily the achievement. So that's key, making it fun for them. Create a repertoire based not only on holiday or seasonal considerations, but on children's personal experiences and opportunities that allow them to build up their musicianships. So we don't have to just wait for holidays or special occasions to come around, but throughout the day, throughout the school year, build up their music repertoire. Aim for spiraling sequences that allow children to approach new music without letting go of the familiar. So the little song, make new friends, but keep the old, so that they know it's okay to switch it up. Um, you can sing Jingle Bells in June. You don't have to wait until Christmas time to sing Jingle Bells. You can sing um, the Easter Bunny song, Here Comes Peter Cottontail. You can sing it in September. It doesn't have to be just for that specific time during a holiday season or a special occasion to sing those songs. Include ample opportunity for children to move and have physical expression. So you want to make sure if it calls for them to be able to move, to jump, to hop, that you clear things out the way. Remember safety first so that they have that space to do so. And make sure you build in sufficient time. Don't rush music and movement time. Just like any other activity, plan on your schedule, build music and movement into your schedule so that children can get the most out of this time in your classroom throughout the day. Okay. And you can always build your own library of music. Ask the children what are some of their favorites. If you have YouTube, you can create a YouTube playlist that you and the children can enjoy. So that way you can ask them, what do you want to listen to today? What songs do you think we should listen to today? What songs do you want to get the wiggles out? What songs do you want to exercise? Again, with songs, you can make them up. They don't have to be something that you already know. You can make up silly songs, take a familiar tune and modify the lyrics, modify the words, bend the tune to meet your needs and the children's need. Okay? And keep the children engaged. You can mix new songs with familiar songs, involve them. That is most important. Involve the children in the music. If they want to mix up the words, if they want to make it an even sillier song, you can do that. Okay. And instruments. Antoinette spoke to this just prior. Give them instruments to play with, and it doesn't have to be instruments that you wish that you had in your classroom. If there's blocks in your classrooms and you have a little stick, give them the blocks and a stick to beat on. Let them pat their hands on the table. They can always use their feet. Remember, your body can be a musical instrument as well. Okay. So preschoolers and music, we've learned a lot about what preschoolers like. So if you look at the development from infancy to preschoolers, you see how music and movement, it evolves as the children get older. They require different strategies to try their educational needs become a little greater, a little different, but you always want to make sure that it's always developmentally appropriate, okay? So ways in which music is beneficial for preschoolers. The executive functioning. And this is where preschoolers have the ability to organize new thoughts, ideas, and information. We see it in children who display a clear sense of purpose, like when they know they're going to sit down and complete that 25-piece puzzle, or even that 35-piece puzzle, when they're going to build with blocks. They're in their mind, they're seeing what they're going to do, which block it's going to wear, and which purpose it's going to serve. Even dressing themselves efficiently, they're going to be mindful of, which shoe goes on which foot. I'm going to put my shirt on before I put my jacket on. I'm going to put my pants on, then I'll put on my socks. All of that is part of the executive function. Children's thinking is flexible, so it can go either way. And what they do, how they figure it out, if one thing doesn't work, they try again with something else. They always have an alternative idea behind that. And we see it. If this doesn't fit here, they say, well, let me try this one and see if this is going to fit. So music is beneficial for the executive functioning. For literacy and language processing, research has found that musical training improves the way children's brain processes the spoken word. Again, going back to the very beginning of this presentation, listening to music, reading stories to the baby before it's born, once the baby gets here, all of that improves the spoken word process in their brain. This improved auditory processing becomes an asset to children learning to read. And here's a key thing, it's especially helpful to children with dyslexia and other reading challenges, because what music allows them to do, it helps them to hear the words as they decode language. So they may see it a little differently, though, for those of us who understand dyslexia, they see the words a little differently than our typical brain does. But music helps them hear the words as they start to decode language. Another beneficial aspect for music in preschoolers is memory. Children who sing or play an instrument are consistently organizing, adjusting, and sequencing new material before committing it to memory. Habits that they then apply to diverse learning situations. So they begin to understand, if they hear it, they see it, they commit it to memory, then when it comes up again, they know the steps to get it done, the steps in order that they need to take to get whatever needs to be done. So children who sing or play an instrument, this is what it does for their memorization. Because when you get ready to play your saxophone or play your piano, you have to know what the next note is. So, and I think about my co-trainer, Antoinette, her son, he's a musician and he plays a tuba, right, Antoinette?
Yes.
Yes. And so I just imagine how he thinks in terms of when it's his part to play, when he plays with the band, because everybody in the band have to be on one accord, or that note is going to set everybody off. So I people who have that great memory, who are musicians, it's very critical. So that's how music benefits preschoolers with their memory. And lastly, their emotional well-being. When children move and sing, it helps them to feel good about themselves, because it's nothing like having a little one who's listening to a song and they can't get up and move to that song, or move to the rhythm of that song, or tap to the beat that they hear in that song. So when you allow them the opportunity to do that, you help them and their emotional well-being. because they've done numerous studies, and those studies have shown that singing actually can relieve anxiety and contribute to quality of life. So again, think about your own self as an adult, how if you hear a certain type of music or a certain song and you're feeling anxious about something, how it can ease that off and help put you in a space or in a safe place where you're able to process and do the next thing that you have to do. So those are the ways in which music is beneficial for preschoolers. We've gone through the other two groups in early childhood, and we can see how it benefits from the time the mother is pregnant with her baby up until preschool age, and how it builds one upon the other. Nothing is lost when a child in preschool age under begin to operate from the executive functioning. It's because in toddler they learned how to, let's see, build coordination and how to improve their literacy and numeracy. So everything kind of builds one upon the other. It doesn't go away. It's not lost. Okay. So now we're going to watch our last video, and this one involves preschoolers, and follow up with a brief discussion of what we observe. Again, looking at how the children are in the video, how the adults support the children, and if there's anything that you would change about the activity that's being conducted in this video. And this one is about 3 minutes long, but it's a fun video, and we hope that you enjoy it. Okay. 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 I shortened the video because I know that we're pressed for time and we want to be mindful of the time, but the song would have continued, and we just wanted you to see the interactions between the teacher and the preschoolers in that video, as he allowed them to move to the music and dance along to the rhythm of that song. Okay. Let's see. We have a couple of questions. Someone said that they love that song. They notice a good relationship between the teacher and the children. Exactly. And that's what it's all about. Again, engaging with the children, having fun, and giving the children an opportunity to get up, move, dance, and just be a part of the whole music and movement activity. Okay. So, you know that music can help with the hard parts too. So this is just a little mean because planning music and movement as an activity throughout your day at the end of any given day, but this says how preschool teachers feel the end of the day on a Friday. But I know that there are times when you feel this way at the end of any given day. But just know that music can help with the hard parts too, as you plan your day and interact with your children. Um, uh, just be mindful of some of the strategies that we've talked about and the developmental milestones that you are meeting. Okay. All right. So we have one last poll that we're going to launch asking you when is the best time to use transitions. And the reason we're asking this is because we know a lot of times teachers have a difficult time using music and transitions, moving children from one activity to the other and getting them ready for the next routine of the day. So I'm going to launch the poll really quickly. And choose one. When is the best time to choose to use transition? Is it best at morning arrival? Is it best for preparing for meals, which include lunch and snack? Is it best for nap and rest time, whether you're preparing for or waking children up from nap or rest time, or all of the above? Okay, so everyone choose. Okay, I'll give it about 5 more seconds and then we'll close the poll. Okay. Okay. I apologize for the screen that's showing in the back. Okay. Okay, let's look at our result.
Good.
All of
Very
the
good.
above.
Good.
Yes.
Yay. Very good. Very good.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes, transitions can be used at any time throughout your day. And having a song to sing just to remind children of the next thing that they are going to be moving into when an activity is ending, when an activity is about to start, having simple transition song, making sure that that transition song makes sense with the transition that you're having. So if you're going to clean up, making sure that the song that they're hearing pertains to cleaning up, not it's time to go outside. If they're going outside after that, make sure that song comes next, but don't use them together because it may confuse a little one. Okay. So again, music and movement having a purpose in the classroom at any given time, embedding learning opportunities in your transitions, and just sharing with your children, understanding that they know what's coming next for them to do. Okay. So again, when do we use transitions most? Morning arrival, cleaning up, preparing for mealtime, switching among small groups, individual explorations, group times, moving between indoor and outdoor play, nap and rest time, switching centers for or areas, and preparing to go home. And this is just a condensed list I'm sure you all have other times when you would consider using transitions as well, but this is when we most use transitions during this time of our day. Okay. Again, having a purpose behind the transition song, making sure that it makes sense to the transition that's taking place, and that children understand and they are on guard for the next thing that's coming up. Okay. Some helpful strategies for transitions: set clear expectations for the transitions ahead of time. So give them that cue, 5 more minutes before we have to clean up. And as you get closer to the 5 minute mark, you may start to sing the cleanup song. 2 minutes before we have to line up to come back inside from outdoors. And as you get closer to that 2 minute mark, you start to sing that song. Choose songs that fit that transition. Be consistent with using the same song for that particular transition. Again, consistency. Be mindful of when children are restless and allow time for movement. So if it's just a song that just gets them in line, you may have to be mindful of that child who may appear restless, and give them an opportunity to move. Again, put your left hand in the air, something that's going to allow them to move. Be flexible. We don't always have to sit crisscross applesauce, so you can switch it up, as we've been talking about as we move through this presentation. You can make up the silliest of songs, you can put in other words, you can put in other names, and engage with the children. Most importantly, engage with them as you implement these strategies that we've discussed today. Okay. So, rewriting that song. We've been talking about taking familiar songs and just rewriting them, changing up the lyrics, changing up the tune, changing up the names. That's all that this is about. You don't have to always do it the same way. You can switch it up and get the children's input. Ask the children, what do you think? Instead of the spider coming down and sitting beside her, what else could come down and sit beside her? And children will, a lion, a snake, a bear, something like that. Just engage them and ask them, and rewrite the song. Have fun with it. Allow the children to have fun with it, and just enjoy it. So with that being said, our little treat for you is Miss Antoinette is going to sing a song that she's rewritten the words to. And I just ask that you listen to her and enjoy her beautiful singing voice. Take it away, Miss Antoinette.
We know when we go outside, we say line up, stand on a line, make sure you're standing on that square, stand up behind each other, line up, keep straight. That's all the children are hearing on the way outside. So how to change that function of thinking in their mind. We're going outside, we're going outside, we're gonna have some fun today, we're going outside. And if you just keep singing that song over and over again, they know they're going outside to have fun. And that's what you want to have in their brain, their lineup, and they start singing it with you until they even know we're going outside. And even when you're doing circle time with your alphabet, you point to the letter A, letter B, letter C. Change it up a little bit because our children come from different genres in life. So you can give them something like, I want an A. Hey, go touch that A, go touch that A. I want an X. X, go touch that X. I want that X. Catch that Z. Z, I want that Z. Instead of just totally always saying what it is. It becomes, music is so important. It just floods the children's life when they get in their car. So they can now start singing the alphabet to the way they like it. So it becomes more in their brain. I want an X, X. I want a Z, Z. So you just make it that way for the children. So they start to sing it with you until it becomes part of their day. Again, when you're transitioning from one era to the next, put it in song. We're not just going outside, like it's time if you're going to lunch. Some of you leave your classroom for lunch. It's lunchtime, let's go. Time to eat and drink. Make up songs that make sense to them instead of the typical lineup where they're just hitting on each other while they're standing in the line. So just sing it with them. Nobody has to have a great voice. The children don't care. Just sing with them and make it work for your classroom.
Thank you, Miss Antoinette. That was lovely. I hope you enjoyed her singing ability. She has a beautiful singing voice. So now that we're running behind on time, so we're going to do a quick summary and recap, and we hope that you've gotten the most out of this presentation that Antoinette and I worked on to share with you. So the one thing we want you to know is that music and movement plays an important role in a child's development, just like math, science, reading, or writing, and has many benefits. Children naturally enjoy music and will begin reacting to music at an early age. As they get older, their love of music will bring one of the most obvious benefits of children participating in music and movement, the release of energy. When children participate in music and movement activities in a group, they are also developing and refining their social skills. They learn to work as a team, they learn to share, and they learn how to be creative in a group environment. And research shows that exposure to music can also improve children's ability to learn. Music and movement instruction has been shown to improve children's memory, cognitive, learning skills, and expressive ability. Okay, so that's a summary of everything that we've discussed, the videos that we saw. We hope that again that you've gotten the most out of this presentation on creating magic through music and movement, and we hope that you go out and create magic with the ones that you take care of the most: infants, toddlers, and the preschool age children. Okay. So I tried to address as many questions and comments as I saw in the box. Thank you so much for sharing that you enjoyed this training. Don't forget, at the end of this training, a post question is going to launch and a training survey. So we ask that you complete all of the information once the presentation ends. And remember, you can expect your certificate within 24 hours at the email address that you entered upon registration. This is our reference page, all of the references that we use to gather this information, but you know the internet has a plethora of information out there on any given topic, but we do want to acknowledge the references that we used, okay? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, expect the post test of 3 questions and a training survey of 5 questions to launch immediately following this presentation. And we ask again that you complete all of the information. And this is our contact information. If after this presentation you have any questions or concerns, you may contact myself or Antoinette Shaw at our respective email addresses: ashaw@elcbroward.org, wgordon@elcbroward.org. Thank you again for spending your time with us. I apologize for going over about 15 minutes longer than we anticipated, but thank you for sticking in with us and sharing your ideas, your comments, and your questions. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to see you at our next upcoming training. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Wendy. Great. And thank you again to everyone
Thank you, Antoinette.
for coming into our videos. Thank you, and our trainings.
And don't forget, your handouts are there. If you need to get the handouts, click on the handouts button and you can download the handouts. Okay.